Welcome to the Business of Style podcast with me, your host, Louisa Gabriel. I'm a personal stylist and image strategist who grew a successful six-figure business, and now I'm educating and empowering other personal stylists and image professionals just like you to do the same. So please keep listening to hear the lessons I've learned and the strategies I've used along the way that are guaranteed to take your personal styling career from side hustle to six figures too. Welcome everyone to the 100th episode of the Business of Style podcast. I kind of feel like we should have had a trumpet fanfare to mark the occasion, which in my mind is a momentous occasion, and I'm really shocked that we've made it to 100. But for sure, we wouldn't have made it if it wasn't for all you listeners out there who tune in each episode and have been leaving amazing reviews and sending me such positive feedback for the show. So thank you to you all. And if you are a new listener, welcome. And I hope you find this podcast interesting and most importantly, helpful, because that's why I started it in the first place. So something a bit different for our 100th episode. I put a shout out to you all to submit your most pressing styling business questions so that I could answer them personally on the show. And as I'm sure you can imagine, we've been overwhelmed with the amount of questions we've received, and it's really taken some time to go through them all. Many of your questions were a show in themselves. So that's what I've decided to do. In upcoming episodes, I'm going to be answering some of the questions you sent in a full show format so that I can give you the detail that you're really looking for. But for other questions, there were definitely some trends that I was seeing. So we've taken the most common questions to answer. So you may not hear your exact question, but please keep listening, as many of you had the same questions, and I'm sure the answers are going to help you. So let's dive into your questions for our 100th episode. We're going to start with an email from Inez in Portugal. And Inez writes, "Hi, Louisa. I'm a big fan of your show, and I hope that you can answer my questions and help me. I have just finished my personal styling training and I'm starting my business. I have a little money to help me get started, and I'm wondering where you think I should invest the money to be the most helpful for my business." So, the answer to this question is kind of simple: your website. Your website is the most important tool that you have. It's where people will find you. It's where people will learn about you. And it's where they potentially are going to be booking their appointments and probably even going to be paying you. Even if you have social media, you'll be redirecting people to your website. So it makes sense that this needs to be where you put in your time and effort and your money to start your business. So if you have the money to pay a designer, then that is great and something you should definitely invest in. But if not, there are options out there that are simple enough for you to do yourself, but you'll want to make sure that they function really well and they're easy for potential clients to be able to navigate. So I recommend that you make sure that it has a CRM connected so that when people subscribe, you can send them newsletters and you can create that all important sales funnel. Staying on the topic of just starting your business, I have another email here, and this one is from Siobhan, who is in Dublin. "Hi, Louisa. Happy 100th episode. I'm starting my business and I'm planning to charge an hourly rate. I know that you say signature programs are best, and yeah, I definitely do, but I just don't feel that I'm ready or have enough experience for that yet. With an hourly rate, how do I determine what the rate should be? Well, this is a great question and a very, very common and popular question. Had so many questions come in about pricing. So the answer, well, yeah, I absolutely do recommend signature programs. And if you've listened to the podcast before, you already know that. We don't want you burning out by trying to make ends meet, exchanging your services for that hourly income. But I get it. You're brand new and you're just getting started, and you might not feel ready to actually go ahead and create a signature program. What I would recommend for you, though, is instead of an hourly rate, you do a service price. This will actually allow you to kind of charge more for the value of what you offer than specifically the time duration that you would be doing with an hourly rate. So, for example, your style consultation or your body shape analysis as a complete service, or a closet detox that does include a specific number of hours within it. This way, you can actually make sure to include the travel time and the preparation time and the report writing time and all these other things that we need to do as stylists for our client services. You can build that time into the service and make sure that you are getting paid for them. So, to start, I would take a look at other stylists in your area and see the kind of average pricing that is going on. Remember, if you are certified as a personal stylist or an image consultant, people will pay more. So you can look on the higher end of your pricing. But also, you want to think about who your target clients are. If you are working with lower income people and you have a specific niche that ties into that, then you don't want to charge them the same as if you were a luxury stylist, because otherwise you're never going to get those clients. Also, very important that you remember that you are focusing on the value of what you offer. And this plays into your pricing in a very big way. Now, the one thing that people always forget when trying to determine their prices is, what do you need to earn to cover your bills? So you need to reverse engineer things. So work out what you need to earn first. That is the priority in your business, okay? You need to make sure that you can cover your bills and have something left over too. So reverse engineer it. Start with what you need to earn. And if, let's say, for example, you're charging $200 for your service, how many clients would you need to get in order to earn the amount of money that you need for your bills and to live on? And once you know how many clients you need to get at that price, is that actually something that is realistic? Can you get that amount of clients, or is it going to be too high? If it's not realistic, then you need to look at higher prices. It's as simple as that. I want you to remember you can always add value into your services, right? And this can help reflect the higher price. And the value doesn't mean more time, it can be supplemental things that you already have created that you throw in to increase the value for your clients, but you're not spending more time actually completing the service with your clients. Now, there is no set pricing structure. And I know this makes people mad when I can't give them a direct answer and say, you need to charge $300 for your color analysis, or you need to charge $100 for your lookbooks. It doesn't work like that. There are so many different variables that come into play: what you want to earn, where you live, who your target clients are. Think about what other stylists may be doing. Do that competitor analysis to have an idea how you will be priced within the market in which you are offering the services. But the thing with pricing is, oftentimes you do adjust as you go along. So just because you set a price at the beginning and you test it, you see if it works, you see if you're actually finding your target clients and it's working well within your market. And if it's not, it's okay. You can adjust. Now, I don't want you to go too low and I don't want you to go too high if you are adjusting, but it's flexible. You can adjust. You can test different prices for different services and see which price point is going to work best for you. Okay, so I think we're going to jump to a voice note. If I can actually get this working correctly, which I think I can. So let's hear what Sandra needs help with.
Hi, my name is Sandra, and I'm a stylist in Florida. And I'd love to hear any advice you have for narrowing down a niche. I'm really struggling right now to find a focus and identify who I should try to work with. Any help would be greatly appreciated, and I really love the podcast.
Okay, well, thank you for your question, Sandra. Finding a niche is something that a lot of stylists do find challenging. The first part really comes down to that fear, the fear of narrowing your potential client pool, really focusing in. This can lead to a lot of overthinking and a lot of worry, which I do understand. I've been there. I really understand that fear. But the first thing that you need to do is you need to reframe this in your mind. I don't want you to think of it as narrowing the playing field. Think of it as targeting, which is essentially what you're going to be doing. Targeting your marketing so that you can actually find clients. Then start with some of the basic demographics, like, do you prefer to work with men or women? Your training may also narrow this part down for you. We offer both styling for men and women in our personal styling program at the Style Academy International, but not all schools do. So you may not actually have the skills to work with both. And this can play into really targeting and focusing your niche. Next, what geographical area do you want to work in? Or is there a specific age group that you feel more connected to and want to work with? If you're in your 50s or 60s, you may gravitate more towards people in that same age group rather than working with the 20 somethings. Once you've started to narrow down the demographics, which in itself will make your marketing strategies easier, you can then start thinking about a specialty. Think about what interests you have, not just with styling, but also in life, and see if somehow you can connect it. The best niches are often a combination of the two. Think about your life experiences and how they can help you to help others. Remember that it's your business and you can create a niche that is a reflection of you and what you love to do. But in order to do that, the first thing that you have to do is, if you have any doubt about niching down, then you have to let that go. And that's to Sandra and everyone else who is experiencing that same challenge. Okay, let's take a look at an email I got from Charles, as it ties into this fear of narrowing things down and targeting, which is a much better word. Charles writes, "Hi, Louisa. I'm in the process of developing my signature program right now. I'm still charging for individual services, but after listening to your podcast, I've decided that a signature program is the right way to go. My question to you is, would it be beneficial to create several signature programs? I thought this might be a good way to attract more clients. I was thinking of creating 3 or 4, but would love your input." So, once again, it's probably that fear that if you narrow your target, you'll limit your business. But the opposite is true. The wider net you cast, the less clients you actually catch. And I know that that's really hard to kind of get your head around. But in business, remember this is business, it isn't actually fishing. It is so true. So it really is very important to really focus and create a target. Why? If you have 4 different programs, that's potentially 4 different target audiences that you have to try and reach and connect with. Okay. And that means that there's going to be a lot more work in it for you too. So I always want to remind people of the power of one program, one audience, one platform. This is really the best place to start your business. So you'll really target your marketing and excel in your craft of styling. But with that said, there is a way to potentially reach more people by including different levels within a signature program. You could actually break it down, say, by bronze, silver, and gold versions of the signature program, with each one of them increasing in value and also increasing in its price. This way, you're going to be able to catch some of those clients that may be looking at a lower financial investment, but also those that want everything and are willing to pay for it. So, if you do feel the need to create a little bit more and you just can't bring yourself to do that one signature program, building in those different levels is probably a good thing for you to try. So, whatever you do, Charles, keep it simple and don't be worried about being too focused. So, moving on, let's now hear from Camille, who has a question about social media.
Hello, Louisa. This is Camille, and I would like to know which social media platform you recommend for stylists. Should I create accounts on all the different platforms to reach more people, or is there one that is better for us stylists? Thank you so much for your help.
Okay, so there's a pattern that I'm sure you can see forming with all these questions now. It's the feeling that you have to do more to reach more, which really is the opposite of the strategy that you do need to use in business. So, no, Camille, you definitely shouldn't sign up for every social media platform. All this is going to do is create so much more work for you to do, and you pretty much be spending all your time creating content and not actually being a stylist. There's a few important things that you need to think about with social media. First, it shouldn't be your only marketing tool. Social media should just be the start of your relationship with potential clients, a way to attract them, a way to start that engagement with them. But you should really be moving them away from social media and moving that relationship away from social media and onto your website as soon as you can, so you can put that sales funnel into effect as soon as possible. There is also the fact that with social media, you don't own the contacts. You don't own your followers on social media. So if you get blocked or the social media goes down, which we know happens a lot, you are losing all those potential clients and relationships. So we shouldn't be so dependent on it. Second, your social media presence should be based on where your ideal clients spend most of their time. So, if you have a clearly defined target client who you want to work with, then you can find out which platform they use the most. The analytics are all out there. You can simply jump onto ChatGPT or on Google, and that will help you determine where they are, and then build your presence on that platform where they're spending their time. There really is no point in spending time on TikTok creating video after video if your clients are not actually on there. you'll just not get that return on your time investment that you need. So remember the power of one again. Choose one platform and focus on creating content that is of value to your ideal clients, and then give them the clear steps in how to work with you. Okay, sticking with the topic of social media, Paulette, who is from Manchester in England, wrote in and wants to know, can I build a successful business without being on social media? Paulette apparently hates social media, but thinks she has to be on there in order to find clients. Well, Paulette, the good news for you and for many people who also hate social media is that you can absolutely build a successful business without being on socials. And I know many, many successful stylists that have done this. What these stylists have focused on is their local community and using that word of mouth that is very important within community to help them find clients and build their reputation. And to be honest, this is still one of the most effective tools, and you definitely shouldn't overlook it. Even if you are on social media, you need more tools in your marketing toolkit, and word of mouth marketing within your community is definitely one of them. There's also the feeling of exclusivity that you can actually create by not being on social media like most other stylists. Your services can't be found by everyone like it can on social media. And we know that people do love that exclusivity. As I'm saying this now, I'm thinking this would be a great topic to cover in depth in a future episode. But Paulette, if you hate social media and you have other marketing strategies such as word of mouth that you can use effectively, then please don't do something that you hate just because other people are doing it. I want you to build a business that you really love and that you really enjoy growing, and doing something that you really hate doesn't fit into that at all. Okay, so let's take a look at another question, and this one is from April in Washington. April writes, I launched my styling business about a year ago, and so far so good. Your training and this podcast have been a great help. I have a question about the services I offer. Currently, I do body shape analysis and style consultations, capsule wardrobes, and closet audits. I know that color analysis has become extremely popular recently, and I'm wondering if this is something you think that all stylists should offer in addition to styling. I'm not sure if it's my thing, but I do want to keep growing my business. Well, first, April, I'm so glad to hear that your business is going really, really well. But yes, color analysis, boy, has that seen a major revival over the past couple of years. It was really popular back in the 80s when we first saw the Four Seasons from Color Me Beautiful arrive on the scene. But it did kind of hit a lull in its popularity for many years. But I think with the power of social media and the development of more advanced and inclusive color systems, it is back. For how long? Well, I mean, that's anybody's guess, isn't it? We see things revived, but then sometimes they fade away again when there's something new that piques everyone's interest. But color analysis is a really great skill for stylists to have, but not every stylist has to offer it. And I don't want you to feel pressured into it just simply because it is popular right now. But that being said, having the skill and the knowledge of color analysis is really positive for stylists. You know, it's something that is going to be really advantageous when you are working with your clients and you're trying to pull outfits for them and create looks for them. Having that knowledge of the seasons and how the colors harmonize is going to help you create that overall better look for your clients. But it doesn't mean that you have to offer it as a specific service. So you don't have to have that color analysis where you actually spend time draping them and giving them their palettes. You can simply just use it as one of your styling tools to help you when you are working with your clients. So, and this is especially if you feel that color analysis is not your thing, don't feel pressured into offering it as a service. But if you do love color and you have the right training to be doing color analysis, then absolutely I would add it to your business without a doubt and really capitalize on its current popularity. Wow. I mean, we've really covered a lot today, a lot of great topics. And as I said at the beginning, while these might not have been your specific questions, we did take the questions and look at what the common themes were. So hopefully, this is providing you with some help too. But I think I want to make time for one last question. So let's hear from Sophie, who has a question about increasing her prices without losing current clients.
I'm Sophie from Chicago. My question is, what's the best way to increase my prices without losing any of my current clients? I know my prices are too low, but also worried that if I put them up, I'll lose my clients.
Well, this is a great question, Sophie, and thank you so much for sending it in because I know that this is a question that is on many people's minds right now that need to increase their prices. The cost of living has definitely increased for a lot of people, and you might be feeling that pinch too, and you want to increase your prices slightly, but you do have that worry because potentially you feel it's going to put people off. Well, pricing is where most people get stuck in their business, isn't it? Whether it's Siobhan from Dublin who wasn't sure how to set her prices, or it's Sophie here who wants to put hers up but worries she'll lose her clients. Well, putting up your prices is nerve wracking. It definitely is. And you're definitely going to second guess yourself as you do it. You may find yourself putting them up and then lowering them again. I have been there. I have done that many a time. But this is fear based, and we need to try to fight this fear in business as much as we can. And I know that that is very much easier said than done, but it's a battle we want to fight because it will benefit our business in the long run. So, what I'm going to say about this is if your clients are only with you because your prices are low, then your prices are definitely too low. Your clients should be with you because of the value and the service that you offer. If you show your clients the value, then they will be willing to pay what you ask them to, even if that means paying a little bit more than they were previously doing so. So, the first thing before you put your prices up is to make sure that you understand and communicate your value clearly. The second is to communicate the increase upfront and make sure as you do that you remind them of the value of your services. You could also give loyal customers, people who've been with you for a while, a time period where if they book in for their next session with you, they'll actually get it at the current rate. This would kind of use it as a special offer to get them booking their appointments now. But that would just be for loyal clients. I wouldn't want you to do that for people that you haven't worked with yet You haven't worked with a person yet, then just tell them your prices. The new prices, just tell them what they are. You don't need to be announcing on social media. You don't need to use it as a kind of sales tactic either. Just communicate directly with those existing clients, and that is it. If you're working with the right people, and the people love what you do, then a small increase in price isn't going to change this, despite what the fear might be telling you. So don't listen to the fear. Listen to me instead, because the fear is going to hold you back. And I want to get you heading in the right direction. So, well, I think this is a great point to end today's show on. We have covered so much, and I hope that you have found it very helpful. As I said previously, I am going to be taking many of your questions and actually turning them into full episodes so I can really give you more detail that is going to help you grow your personal styling business. So, thank you so much for all of your questions. And thank you so much for continuing to listen. And I will catch you on the next episode. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Business of Style podcast, then don't forget to hit subscribe so you'll be notified when a new episode is available. And of course, if you're looking for additional training and resources to help you in your career as a personal stylist, then be sure to visit my website, styleacademyintl.com.